Hi, and welcome everybody to Straight to the Point. And I'm Treacy O'Connor, and I'm joined today by the amazing Emeli Paulo, all the way from Australia. Thank you so much, Emeli, for getting up so early in the morning, and that's why we've rescheduled the show slightly today, because it would have been 4 a.m. Emily's time, and that would not have been good. We probably
No, I was willing to do that for you, Tracy.
I know you were absolutely willing, and I totally appreciate that. Thank you so much. But we probably wouldn't have seen such a smiley face. You need your sleep. Everybody needs their sleep. So this is a show all about connection, straight to the point, and it's about authenticity and connection. And who better to have on the show than Emeli, because Emeli's mission in life and what she thrives on is authentic connection. Emeli has given thousands of workshops all over Australia, over 10,000, I believe, over 15 years, Emeli. Over 300,000 people within Australia and across the world have been transformed by your master facilitation. You say that you're a trainer of the human spirit, and you harness inspiration and empower people with the resources to live an authentic life. And there's no bullshit and there's no fluff in what you do. You really just get real and get authentic with people to really get down to what matters most and what makes people tick. So it's a real pleasure to have you on, Emeli, and to be able to share with people. Most people watching might be in Australia, obviously, but in the US and in Europe as well. This is HCN Healing Connection Network. So a lot of people who are looking to do great things in the world and learn from each other and inspire each other. It's all about collaboration, which you totally get.
I do. And when I saw what you were doing, I was like, I do that too. And then I was connected in with, there's so many people around the world who are doing it. Isn't that just what's special? Like people who watch this, like we are genuinely connected with the same values, a like-minded purpose. And some days I laugh because I seem like the biggest cheese ball in Australia, but I genuinely just think that we need way more connection. So I get such a buzz from what you're doing. Congratulations. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And I love seeing that brightness in your face. Like you are shining when you're doing it, aren't you?
Oh, thanks, Emeli. Well, sure, listen, look at you too. You know, we're all just great. We're all shining beings, but you're right. There are so many people that are the
type of people that would say that to each other too.
Absolutely. We don't hold back here.
There's a lot of love going on across the world in this community.
Oh yeah. But I mean, like there are so many people that are waking up to their true value and their purpose. And that's what I wanted to ask you a bit about is, you know, obviously you and I at one stage in our lives didn't really understand what our true purpose was in life. And what was it? Can you describe, what was it that really woke you up to what your purpose is?
You know, I was really lucky. I found mine really young. And don't get me wrong, there were moments where I lost it and then thought it wasn't good enough, or it maybe evolved from being stimulated by something else. But I knew at 17, my unknowns to me, my mentor walked into my life, and you might remember him. He was an Irishman called Jimmy Steins.
Yeah, sure.
And Jimmy was unfortunately he passed away from cancer, but in Australia, let alone across parts of Ireland, in different parts of the world, he was really well known for the work that he would do with young people. And Jim walked into our school, and at this time my mum was dying of cancer. Going straight to the point again, if I'm all about real, you know, I was dealing with abuse issues coming up. Drugs and alcohol were my best friend in high school, and I wasn't studying. And he walked into our life and got us to really ask ourselves some really deep questions. And these questions really connected me to who I was and where I wanted to go, and kind of hit a restart button. And the question was, how do you want to be remembered?
Wow.
And I didn't realize as a 17-year-old that was going to change the trajectory of my life, but it did. And
it's not something you'd think about at 17 years of old age of, immortality. You believe
yeah, I didn't. As a 17-year-old, I couldn't believe that feeling that I had. That feeling when you have a wake up or something becomes clear, or that sense of purpose or connection or being authentic with yourself. My whole year level were far from editing themselves for other people. And that's what authenticity was for me, is that we were constantly editing ourselves. We didn't know who we were. And he got us to really line up and question and be honest about who we were in front of each other. And I just looked at him and thought, it's so different. This is what I want to do. And I went on to be trained with him for, I think it was a good 17 years, 18 years. I worked with the Reach Foundation, which was a youth organisation that he ran for youth leaders to run these programs for other people. And now I do it for adults. But I really do believe in connecting people to resources, both inside and externally, to help them live that purpose-filled life. Like, I know it through and through. Yeah.
You say on the Collective Potential website that it's a self-development social enterprise committed to helping people create the change they want to see in their lives. And you believe people who are on purpose change the world. So what is it about, what do you think stops people from living their purpose?
Everything. How long is this interview?
Half an hour.
What's that?
Half an hour. We have 30 minutes.
What is it? Well, they better hurry up then. No, I think maybe that's part of it. That they, I think there's a lot of unconscious excuses, like straight down the line. I don't have time. I don't have enough money. Like, I posted an important post to me last night. What would get in the way of you going out on a road trip, which is part of my next project? Even if you had a decent motorhome or camper van to take you around, what would stop you? And the list was there: money and money, income and income. Like, it was just money, 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 money. And I've got so much to say on that point. Of course, it was then the practical things, like I've got a kid, I've got family, my fear, my desire even came up, other people. So I think that a lot of the time they seem practical, but they can also be things that we're avoiding. So just not sure what purpose is. Like, where do we get trained in purpose, Treacy? Where did you get trained on what following your purpose was?
Yeah, exactly. It's an ongoing process, really, isn't it? For me, it's been an unfolding of piece by piece of getting to the truth of who I am in terms of how I connect with my heart, rather than who I think I was meant to be. How do you see it in people that you connect with in workshops? You must experience that aha moment or that light bulb going off, and is there a sense of magic, of something that clicks with people? And what is it about the method that you've developed for working with people that makes it so real?
There's a few things. I think that one of the coolest things is when they walk into the workshops, and I like to think that these are a lot of the people who are coming to our workshops haven't really done self-development work before, and those who don't. So I'll talk about the two types of people in the room. Those that haven't are a bit curious, because they're like, here's this sort of crazy woman. She's a bit loose, which I recognise myself in her. She's not so straight-laced. So maybe there is something in this, and God, I've got this sense that I need to feel something, and I'm looking for something, I'm lost, and they come in with this look in their eyes, and it's like a deer in headlights. What am I doing here? I should be better than this. Surely I'm beyond these kind of workshops. And I smile so gracefully at them, and we have a good laugh. Of course, I'm always having a good giggle about the work. But I see this look in their eyes, and it's a moment where they see themselves in me, and they see themselves in the people in the course. And the two things I really try to do with people is, I call it the catalyst method, which is really getting clear about the outcome that you wish to achieve, you know, and what are the actions you're going to take. That end result, how do you want to feel? Because a lot of the time when they're looking for purpose, they think it's about a job, a relationship, it's about their house. I've got to change, I've got to get skinnier, I need that new career, I've got a family coming. When actually the catalyst method is really about getting clear about that outcome you want in your life, and you take it, and you decide on it. But a lot of the time people don't realize that clarity gives them power. So my favorite thing in the workshop is when there's like aha moment where, and then the second part of everything that we always do that I love is the power of the group work. So rather than just me presenting to you, we're in. It's like 60, 100, sometimes it might be 30, other times it's 200, depending on which event you're coming to at Collective Potential. And I call it the power of the group, so that when one person's speaking, we all learn from it. And you must know that as well, Treacy, in the work that you've done, that there is so much power from learning from others that you can genuinely see yourself in them. And it's quite powerful to watch people break through their own beliefs and thoughts about this outcome or this end result that they'd like for their life.
We do see that in groups, and in circles that I organise, or groups that I organise, how everybody is inspired by everybody who's there, and the realisation that, oh my God, I'm not on my own, and I'm not as crazy as I think I am. People are going through this too, and I think that's a really great confirmation and affirmation that there are others in the tribe of the same wave, on the same wavelength.
And I love that energy. Like, I guess it's like everybody, I've been very humbled to just being put in a position where I would have run over 15,000 workshops and events, debriefs, meetings, the list goes on. And in that time where I've just become really passionate about being in workshops with humans, you start to see a real ease in a workshop. Like, people are nervous and scared to connect and be in a room with authenticity, because it's just not in our norm. And so I love that. I love that we can just be in there laughing and thinking about the absurdity of how we hold ourselves back. Like, I get a real buzz out of creating laughter about why we would even hold ourselves back from our purpose. Who are we without those thoughts? Like, we're gorgeous, beautiful beings, and of course you can do that. Like, what are you thinking? And, you know, it's in that moment of really pulling back the layers that people feel connection, and they don't feel judged, and they feel like they're not alone. And we've been researched by Melbourne University about what is the phenomenology that keeps collective potential going. And I've really enjoyed learning how simple it is in a world where people are disconnected. You know, anxiety and depression is going to be the biggest health issue humanity's ever faced in 2 years, they say. One of the world's greatest disabilities. And I think a lot of that comes from not having a space where you can connect with your heart, with what you want, what is your outcome, teaching you that. But as I said before, I get such a buzz from creating a space where it really is about authentic connection and how that can be a tool to keep that change going. Don't do it on your own. You cannot do it on your own. You need people around you, whether it be a Facebook group, a family member, but that's why I call it collective potential too. Like, you need that buzz of a community, don't you think? I mean, look what you're doing, Treacy.
I a lot of people out there who are starting to do the same thing, Emily. And for me, it's really the collaboration and the teams coming together now are just popping up everywhere. Like on this platform, on the Healing Connection Network, it's the same thing. Anne-Marie created this to help others who are helping people in the world to inspire and lift each other up. I'm doing stuff with corporate wellness, and again, it's just a team of people, individuals who are coming together, and it's strength in. There's so many people around the world in different countries doing it too. But when you were talking about people permission and allowing them to be authentic in a group, I was getting the image and the idea of kids, like young kids at their first day in school, or maybe a little bit after that, where they really don't have any inhibitions, and they just do, and they're just messy and they're funny, and it doesn't matter, and they don't care about being judged. And so you think maybe it's time for us to come back to that sort of innocence of childhood.
Oh, I love that you would say that. And funny enough, I woke up this morning before so it must have been 6:30 here, and I always set an intention, but I use, of course, social media, as you do, to communicate those messages in a world where people are just running so fast. And I said, today's intention, be a kid, play.
Great. Lovely. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, because I really think that because we're not playing enough, and I know that myself. When I'm running a social enterprise, I recently got burnt out, and I mean burnt out to the point where I was so tired. I was questioning whether I had to end up here.
Yeah,
and it's in that place that I was like, I'm not playing. I'm playing grown up, and I'm getting the work done. But I'll be the first to admit that, I wasn't putting in. Now that I'm doing the work, it gets larger and bigger, this space that I have to hold for people in the world around me, and it needs to hold that for me too. And I can see where burnout comes from, because I wasn't connecting spiritually and emotionally in my ritualistic moments during the day, creating those routines where I could do that. And I've spent the last 4 weeks making sure that I put that back in place, and I feel like I can see it in my face. I'm glowing compared to what I was 4 weeks ago. And so I love that you say play like a kid, because it's exactly what I said this morning on Facebook.
That's fantastic. But it's true. It's so important to remember how to be lighthearted, because we take on so much stuff. And there's so much fear, and there's, on a world scale and closer to home scale as well, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety, and it's so easy to get caught in the worry and the heaviness of all of this. And I find, like, even with my own daughter who's 13, the one thing that really works to help snap her out of a really heavy moment, humor. Absolutely. Just lightheartedness. Just, get on with it. So important. And I love that's definitely one of your attributes, that that you do take life very joyfully, whereas before, as you said, years in your early years, and everybody has a story, and so many people have experienced such heavy trauma. I'm sure would agree that humor is definitely one of the keys to breaking through.
It makes me laugh just thinking about what we do to ourselves. Like, I think about people that I meet as coaching clients in the workshops, but even just, walking down the street, like, I wouldn't go to that town, it's too cold. And, there's not a judgment here, more just a giggle of why we stop ourselves. And I find it quite amusing that my friend even, saying to myself, well, no, he couldn't love me because I've got this little extra weight on me. Like, that was a sincere belief of mine for many years. Like, that somebody can't love you because of a certain extra padding you got from that beautiful donut and chocolate cake that you've loved most of your life. I mean, bizarrely, you're probably eating it because you needed to feel comfort, but that's a whole other story. But I do giggle.
That's great. and one person who comes to mind for me who really giggles and laughs a lot, who you've met. Are there any pearls of wisdom that you can share that you picked up from his way of being and his talk?
Yeah, I've been so blessed. I've had a really amazing life, or maybe it was just what I knew I wanted to do. And somehow, when you set that intention again, get really clear about what you end there. I had an amazing opportunity with His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. And yes, Treacy, it was so funny. Like, the man, I couldn't breathe. He was giggling like a little kid. I said, Emeli, would you like to come and meet him? We're thinking about pulling together some youth ambassadors for His Holiness. Let's trial this out. And I was really blessed by the Dalai Lama Association of Australia. And I said, yes, I'd love to come and sit up there. They said, you can have one question. So my question was, can I come and sit up there and ask the question, being cheeky? And so he's like, yes. Come. And over he came. I sat down and I actually said, look, can I bring 2 young people with me? Because I think it would be a great opportunity for them to be around such purity that is Buddhism in a world that they would not know any form of religion, let alone ancient teachings. Yes, that's great. And so we all got invited up on the stage, and where there's a photograph and he's holding my hand, Treacy, and we're just sitting back in fits of laughter because he said, have you read my book? And I said, no, can I have a copy? And he's like, oh, you read my book, which he was joking. But then he, gently tapped me and hit me. I was like, the Dalai Lama hit me. By the book. And we just laughed, but he really did look into my soul, and that gentleness, that lightness of compassion you can feel in a person that really has spent a lot of time understanding that. And he looked in my soul, and I'm convinced it was a beautiful message that he must give each individual. And he said, you must think with your head, but then with your heart.
What a beautiful
And message. I just love that. Yeah, because for me, that's true. I was always thinking, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? And I couldn't align the process to be just. Yeah. And we just laughed. So that was a great opportunity that, again, we were doing good things in the world, and that was a wonderful reward to have.
Fantastic. And I mean, I've seen that you've met the Dalai Lama, you've connected with Oprah Winfrey, you've been on Richard Branson's island, and photographs of you with Russell Brand, and all of these really inspiring people. And you connect with them with such ease. It's like you've got this laser sharp focus and determination. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make it happen. What is the importance for you of that particular connection? Is it so that you can share their message with others and show them how easy it is, that we're all just humans? Can you describe that a little bit for me?
As you talk about this, it's a really great, because I'm still working through it. Like, I actually say to myself, I don't know how this happens. And I have friends who say to me, what do you mean you don't know how it happens? You're a powerful manifester, Emeli. Whatever you start to think about that you want, you always make it happen. And I'm like, there's the giggle, do I? And then I think about all through my life, I'm like, yeah, everything I've really tried to achieve, like I, in my heart of hearts, have been ready and divinely ready for, I have. But I think that is because I really know that I grew up as a kid from the block and I hang around with what I call mainstream people who genuinely need the work that we all do in the community, its place in their life. And so I believe that pop culture figures or figures that have profile, or people who have also, what I love about these people, they must have failed 1,001 times, if not a million, to be as great or as well known as they are. They're not as great as we think we are. They're actually failing. So I like that there's people who have tried and they've tried again and got back up and done it again. And so that's what success looks like in the end. So I like that these people are popular culture figures, and so they resonate with the audience that I love to work with, which was actually me 5 to 10 years ago. So I hunt them out, yes. And I find that the projects I like to be involved in have this certain that people can hear the message from a little bit easier.
And you must though find as well that there are some really, really inspiring, everyday, ordinary people who you come across in your workshops. And can you give me some examples of some of the magic that you've witnessed and how the transformation has happened in people?
Which one? Let's let it drift up.
There must be many.
Well, I think about there was one young 20-year-old who came into our workshop, and very much he was sort of unaware of why he was there. He was kind of dragged along, and I really enjoyed the time with him because he was a musician and he wasn't following it. He wasn't using it in his life because he got caught up in that unconscious ego consciousness that the cities are. It's like, I'm not going to be famous enough. I don't look like the right fame person. I can't. It's just, I don't fit the mold. But he was getting that ego consciousness of a city view of what his passion and purpose is mixed up with that he loves it and he enjoys it and it fills him. And so we would sing for us and he couldn't. And I was like, do it again. He's like, I can't sing in front of all these people. And there is a moment where you as a facilitator can step back and let the person just go. But this one, I can stand in innocence in people's beliefs and negative patterns, and I can see them and go, that's okay. I can see how that's grown, but I can feel what you truly want to be doing with your life. So do it again. Sing for us. And then he got so much anger in it. But anger is also the tip of leadership, like you will push through that fear in that moment. And he got it and he threw a table and it smashed in half. And I was like, yes! This is really out there. But, like sometimes as males, you got to like use that masculinity to push through, let alone that side. And he just sang, hallelujah, hallelujah. And it was like this beautiful connection to music that no matter who you were in the room, he spoke for all of us.
Yeah.
That it didn't matter whether you were into music or not. You could have been a mother, someone who wanted to become an accountant. Like he represents, you got to use all of those parts of you. And everyone in the audience was bawling, Treacy. Wow. They were like, they felt that thing in them, male and female, and just this round of applause because they were celebrating and clapping themselves that he did that. And that was a moment where they don't happen always in our workshops, but again, another process that I like to do. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And I can feel that that pent-up creativity that hasn't been able to find an expression in this city world, and all of a sudden you were given him permission to explosion of creativity and breaking a table, and all of a sudden, bam, it's released. What a relief.
Yes, perfect process, because that's it. You are allowed. That's what I say it every time I speak to someone. You're allowed. And I have to say it to myself all the time. Oh, who am I to go and approach the Dalai Lama with a question? And who am I to have a meeting with Oprah Winfrey, my idol? And who am I to write back to her and go on a road trip? Like, we are censored by life in our family. We have these creative monsters that have come along and said, you can't do that. We can catch them. Like Mrs. Curtis, my grade 4-year-old teacher, she was my creative monster. She told me to sit down and don't be loud, and you know, little girls shouldn't be doing that. And like, look how big I am. Luckily, I've done the work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I'm and I'm sure so many other people are so glad you did as well. But it's amazing, isn't it, how, and you know, as you say, a creative monster or an earworm comes in and just plants that seed of doubt in our mind very, very early on. But it's a belief that we have that isn't necessarily true. So we really have to revisit all of those beliefs that we've built up around ourselves and just let them go already. Tell me, you got coming up, you were talking about a road trip. Tell me more about that.
Well, this is another one of those powerful manifesto moments, I think. I just feel like that there's a lot of people in the city that get to access these workshops, and I really feel a calling that I need to go around the country and go into regional and rural areas of Australia and run this work. I think that's where you need the most connection, and where communities are lacking some of the resources that cities are so blessed with. So I just have put out to some motorhome companies tourist motorhome companies, give me a van. And so I'm in the midst of working with them, right, to see some motorhomes to go and do that, because the only thing that stops me from getting out there is the same as a lot of people saying, money, money, money. And who am I to disappear from our office? But I know that this is what I do, and it will happen.
And it will happen, and it can be really easy too. It doesn't have to be difficult. So it's all about sharing and creating synergies and win-win situations that your benefits from something like this. So if people want to find out more about what you're doing, Emeli, collectivepotential.com.au for Australia, is that right?
Yeah, please do. The reason I'm out on the road trip is I really believe that I'm going to be part of leading a campaign, but it is one that connects with people like you, Treacy, and your groups around the world, and particularly in Australia, where I believe the campaign is we need connection. And so all of the health and well-being individuals, teachers, gurus, I just want to meet them and connect with them. And so thank you for having me on board, because this is a really important part of creating change in individuals' lives or in the health and well-being of Australians is community. So I love that. And I really suggest that anyone who wants to chat to me, go to our website, but look me up on Facebook. It's my everything too. I always chat. I'm always online. So please, whether it's through our website or Facebook, love to hear from you.
Absolutely fantastic. Yes, and she's always there, as am I too. And I sing the same song, Emeli, and it's amazing that we're connecting right now. Or I'm in Dublin, Ireland, and you're in Melbourne, Australia, and we're being watched from America and Europe, and there are no boundaries in terms of connection anymore, which is just really fantastic. It makes my heart sing. And you're so right about community, and it's the only way forward. Thank you so much, Emeli. We're running out of time, unfortunately, but thank you so much.
I think we've covered a lot. Beautiful interview, gorgeous soul. Thanks for having me.
Have a great day. I'm going to bed. You're going to work.
I am. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Bye. Bye. Thanks a million.